Hello, and welcome to another edition of H. Paul Models. This time, P51 Mustang. This is to go with the 262 I did a couple of builds ago. Yes, I'm going to motorise it, put it on the same stand, and yeah, it's a dogfight double type thing. Airfix used to do these, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to add my little twist to it just to give it my own personal touch. As usual, instructions are up. Sprues are up. Board's clear. Let's crack on.
Uh-oh.
Ah, carpet monster. It's okay. I found it. Oh, funny. Oh. Oh. See these little bits here, they always, that's why I try and do it with a scalpel, but it's snapped. Nothing that can't be fixed, but it's just nice not to break them in the first place, but there you go. One of those things. Oh dear. That is going to be an absolute pain. Right. So because the control column broke, unfortunately, I'm going to set that in first because it gives me more room to glue the top section onto the bottom section. Just unfortunate. Every now and then it happens. It is what it is, unfortunately. Oh dear. Come on, I don't want anything to ping, because that would be awful. Make sure it's going to go in the right way. Oh, crikey, this is so delicate. And unfortunately you can see by the scale of my hands to the part, it's a bit like King Kong does embroidery. There we go. I think that's in. Oh. Oh, cripes. Yay! Now to go over the 262, this Mustang needs, in my opinion, to have the prop spinning. So the motor will fit nicely in there. Plenty of spindle there for the prop. But as you can see, it's a little bit too small for the fuselage. So we take a bit of sprue, pair of cutters, that much will probably do it. As I said in one of my previous videos, I like using everything that I buy in an Airfix kit, whether that be sprue, plastic bags, a tray, anything. And I find this sprue is really good for packing out engine bits and pieces. So I'm going to grind that down to the right thickness, set it in place with glue, drop the motor on it, fill it as I have done with the other engine type effects that I've done. So if I can get my little airbrush has gone all grappling up, won't go inside the drawer. Here you go, thank you. Get the tool out. Some people might say that I'm the tool. Let's oh cripes, it's all got jammed. Oh, you see, I don't prepare for these videos, I just do it completely off the cuff. I get a little sander. Honestly, I can't recommend these enough. They're really good. I'm sure I got it off Amazon. It's brilliant. It's a couple of years now and it's still working fine. USB chargeable. It's just one of the best things I've ever bought, and it wasn't that expensive, to be fair. So let's just grip that with the pliers on the cutting board. I'm gonna think maybe I'll try that. If it's like thickness or not, I don't quite know. I'm gonna cut that now. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to stick that on. Oh cripes. Oh dear. And stick that on there. Like that. Flat surface to flat surface. No, it's still too thick, without a doubt. So I'll grind the other side down now. That's not too shabby now, we'll try that. It might be too thick, I don't know. Let's just ease that over a bit. Pick up the motor, drop it in. Oh crikey. No, it's still too thick. Bit more off the top and sides, please, sir. Something for the weekend. I know it's a lot of fettling when I could use something else, but I just like to use the kit plastic. It just seems right, like I do. And sprue, as far as I'm concerned, is part of the kit plastic. So let's sit him in there. I think, looking at that, that's about right. Yes, I think that's good. Right, okay, let's glue that in place and then apply the usual filler, and that will hold it I don't need to do that side because there'll be enough on this side not to warrant any more grinding or sticking or whatnot. So I will drop that into there. And drop that on there. And get it as square as possible. Right. And just now I'm going to let the let's put the motor in there once again. Now the glue's got hold of it. I'm kind of hoping I can judge that, square it up with the, what I'm doing is looking at these plates of the fuselage, which is flat, against the side of the motor to make sure that it's square and the spindle is running halfway through the motor and it's all flat, and at the moment that looks to be perfect. So I'll let that go off, then apply super glue filler to square it all up, let it all go off, and then I'll paint it all, and we can carry on building the aircraft. Right, motor into the fuselage. This is usually when the super glue goes like a fire hydrant and everywhere. So I'm going to be really sensible this time. I'm going to squidge a bit on the tissue, and if it goes like Niagara Falls, it's on the tissue and not on my fingers on the model. Looks like that might be jammed. Just get a cocktail stick and give that a bit of a jab. Oh, there we go. See what I mean? Whop! There's a reason why it was cheap on Amazon. Oh, I've got to have a laugh, haven't you? Right. Oh. Here goes nothing. As always, really careful not to get any super glue on the shaft, because that will nose up the entire thing. Now I've clamped it, so now I'm just going to position it. He says. That's it. And I think, looking at that, that's about as square as I'm going to get it. God, that glue really stinks. Yeah, just check it all round and let it go off. I'm pretty sure iron that up. That's about as square as I'm going to get it. So I'm going to leave that clamp for a little while. Let the glue go off. Get rid of all this. And then, as I say, I'll pack it with filler. I've already tested the motor, so what I'll do is before I commit to packing it with filler, I'll test it again to make sure that the glue hasn't gripped that shaft, because I did drop it a couple of times. So the motor's set in. Just let the filler go off now. So as far as I can see, that's as square as both that way and that way, which is good. So I'm going to let that go off, give it a few hours, and then yeah, we'll start to paint the insides and carry on with the build. Cool. The filler's almost dry, so now just to finish off the process, I've clamped the wire inside the fuselage, and now I'm just super gluing the cores so they don't interfere for when I put the cockpit in there. I can paint them, that'll hide them up really nicely. Not that anyone's going to see them, but I just like to make it tidy, make it look professional, as much as I can be. Cockpit decal going on. Just a little smear of decal fix. Hopefully that's now wet enough. Oh yes, it's lovely. Let's move that bot out of the way before I chuck it everywhere. Let's just get that off and in position without breaking it. Right, what I do now is get my brush, give it a bit of a soak because it's easier to move around inside the model then, or on the model, inside the model, whichever way you like looking at it, and just gently pull that down until the hole for the gun sight is there. That's it. There we go. My tweezers, yeah, the hole's there. Not quite central then. Oh, there we go. We're there now. Right. Just going to add a little tiny bit of weathering powder, if I can get it in a brush that is, just inside, not too heavy, just enough to bring out some of the detail. I don't want it to be like black black as Calcutta, but just like that. So when I gloss varnished it, it's got less of a shine, that's all. So I'll do the same to this one. With the canopy shut, no one's going to see this anyway, but I just like to, I don't know, make a fuss of it and try my best, whatever the words are. Just like that. So bit of background stuff. I'm not an artist, I don't know what the words are. I really don't know. So, yeah. I shall varnish and then we'll carry on with the build. Right, setting the cockpit in. So, I tend to do this stage by stage. I've got all these lines and gaps to follow. If you try and do it at once, I find it generally doesn't fit as well as it should. So, starting at the front, I'm going to put a little dab in there. Drop the cockpit in like that. Position it as best as. And then if I can, with a hair clip, hold it in place. What I find is as you move it around, it unsettles the bit you've got tacky glue on. So I'm just going to try that. And I'm going to see if I can not clamp that into place. Like, that way around's probably better. Like that, and hold it there. Just see if I can, another clamp. It's not glued, I'm just holding it in place because I want that joint to settle. And then I'll go around the back here. It's just my way of doing it. I just think slowly, surely, don't rush it. Yeah. Well, that first section's almost gone off, so I've got the rest of the cockpit seated very well. So using the Revel, I'm just going to go around and just do what Tamiya does, but I just like doing it this applicator. It just feels, Tamiya's very good glue, but I tend to get too many fingerprints with it. So I tend not to use it as much as the Revel. There we go. Now I'm going to leave that clamped overnight now. I'm not going to touch it. Just let it go. Oh yes, and whilst I was waiting for the front of the cockpit to dry, I painted the pilot too. So he's all done. First time I've done goggles on a pilot. So yeah, quite pleased with that actually. Took a bit of a steady hand. But yeah, so I'm slowly getting better at painting figures. I'm not an expert yet. I'm nowhere near as good as I should be, but I'm ever so slowly getting better. Hee hee. Looking at this pilot figure to fit in the cockpit. I've never done this before, fitted a pilot into a plane that's sort of like cut away. And yeah, look at that fit. That's not bad at all. I'm quite impressed, actually, because usually you just don't get to see them like that. So yeah, I'm just going to try and yeah, I'm impressed with that fit. It's very good. Anyway, I digress. Okay, pilot's in. So before I make the final commitment of shutting everything together, let's just test this motor. Yep, that's running. That's good. It sounds awful now, but with a prop on and inside the aircraft, it'll be fine. So, using my favourite glue, I'm just going to drop a little bit into each of these holes. And then stick it together, like thus. So cautious this stuff because I've had so many fingerprints. Do that bit first. Oh. And that bit. Squeeze that shut. Now what I tend to do with these aircraft fuselages is do them bit by bit. I don't do the whole thing at once. I just don't trust it for, for fingerprints. I think I might use some tape on this. I used to try and clamp fuselages. I just found out that the clamps would ping off and it just, I couldn't get it to work properly. So this tape is extra good and I can reuse it for masking, so I'm not all that fussed. That's it, tape that together. Push that together. And do the underside as well. Very good squish. Oh, fat fingers, that's it. Just tape that together. Right, a little bead of that down there. give that another length of tape. Pull that really tight over the top, like that. Do the nose as well. Right, leave that and let it cure. Here we go then, drilling holes for the drop tanks. It always seems a bit wrong to me, drilling holes in a model. I know I do the motors and everything else, but yeah. Still, needs must. These are, yeah, drop tank things. There we go, done. Right, putting the wings together, or as I call it, fingerprint territory. So, I think I'm going to use the Revel glue because there's less chance. I mean, Tamiya's really good, but I just haven't got. I've got a bad run using Tamiya, so I'm a bit paranoid about it now. So, get the old Revel. Just drop a little bit along these edges. There we go. It should be more than enough, I think. Right, try not to touch. Bring it in, and then in we go like that. And then my ever faithful hair clips. These are such a worth buy. Amazon, eBay. I think I bought a dozen, and they're absolutely brilliant for this. Clamping things together. There we go. There's one needed there, so I'm just going to move that along a bit. What do I? Where is the spot of Tamiya on that? Oh. Oh. Just along there, in there, and then clamp that together like that. That's it. That's that wing on. Another gap there, but the flap will fill that one up. Marvellous. Let's do this wing. Again, just little dribbles. It doesn't need to be a lot. I don't know what these holes are for. Whether it's rockets or whatnot, I don't know. It's not a wing set for another Mustang, is it? A Korean War or something? Don't know. Right, let's line that up. Right, in you go. Well done. Right, let's clamp that. And that. And that. A little bit of Tamiya on that bit there. That's it. Done. Whilst the wing's dry, there's no point, there's no reason why, sorry, I can't do the tailplane. So let's a little tiny bit revel on there. There we go. Oh, that's a nice fit. That's really nice. There we go. That's a lovely snug fit. Beautiful. Get my cotton bud, just clean the excess off. Lovely jubbly. Put that one like that. Cotton bud, clean the excess. And I'll do my old trick of looking at the instructions and the bars and just making sure that they're level with each other. There's nothing worse than a tailplane that isn't square, and I don't like it. Yep, that's good. That's all squared up. Lovely jubbly. And we'll get the rudder, I suppose, is next. Yep, which is 15 Abby. Oh, the screw's stuck on me up. There we go. There she is. Do a dry fit. Yep, that's good. Make sure that's square. Yep, beautiful. So I'm just going to let it all dry off now before continuing. Got a confession to make. I was dry fitting to see if the wings would go in. They clipped in nicely and I thought I'm not going to take them out again because they're perfect. So I'm just going to tammy it and let it dry. I'm not going to even bother to take them apart. No. That went way too well, and I'm not going to undo something that went really, really well. I don't even need to feel the wing roots because it's such a good fit. That is outstanding. That is a really good fit. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Wing flaps. Don't say that in the wrong pub. Oh, I'm the funniest person I know, I tell you. Well, so far, this model has been exceptionally good to put together. So I wonder how these will go. Now I think I've got to cut them off. It doesn't say it in the instructions. Nowhere does it show me a scalpel. I think I'm going to have to cut them off, but I'll dry fit first just to see. Yeah, those tabs need cutting off. They're not going to go on. And I don't want the flaps down for this. fault this model so far. Another perfect fit. Let's get that in now. Going off. My hair clips come in handy. So one thing about modelling, that when I was a kid, this used to be, I suppose, today's equivalent of Xbox, whatever version it is, PlayStation, whatever version it is. And I think as a child, it helped me develop hand skills for later on in life, so I could get a job on the tools, and I could understand how things worked because I was putting things together at an early age. And I'm wondering if that's why kids these days just don't seem to be as imaginative or as worldly wise. Maybe it's a different thing, I don't know, but yeah, I seem to think that the things that the generation 50s, 60s, older would do when we were children put us in better stead for adult life, whereas nowadays it's all just Facebook and Instagram and Xbox and all that sort of malarkey, which I just don't think gives children a good foundation for life, when what they should be doing is perhaps scrumping, reading books, building model planes, going whatever they need to do to become better rounded human beings. I think maybe I'm wrong, but that's yeah, I tend to think my childhood was probably a better foundation for life. Yes, okay, I can't work the latest computer and I don't understand all these codes and all that stuff, and I wouldn't know what the difference between IBM and Microsoft and Apple are, but when you've got to change a tap washer or a wheel in your car, or change the spark plugs in your engine, or just put a couple of shells up, I just think that's that skills you learn as a child doing things like this. Maybe I'm wrong, don't know. Anyway, I digress. Back to the build. Undercarriage covers. Bit of a Rubik's Cube for me in the past, so I've laid them out as I think they're supposed to go. I'm just going to tack them in with a little bit of this stuff and see how it goes. Hopefully they'll drop straight in. Very carefully, just try and match that up and lower it in. Oh, that one's in. And drop that one in. Oh, cripes. Just gently nudge it. Oh, yes. Woohoo! Success. Can I have 2 success stories? Let's give it a go. Yeah, I'm not particularly good with undercarriage covers. I always end up with them looking a bit bowed or not quite right. So I really am chancing my arm here. let's have a go. If this works, I think I might have to do an Irish jig on my next video. Very gentle. Oh, crikey. No. Let's see, I've got absolutely... Oh, here we go. It's in. Yeah, that's in. Get rid of that. And let's drop that one in. Oh, cripes. That's it. Oh. Oh, success. Very nice. Usually I have a little lip or something, but... Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. I've skipped a few steps, and now I'm about to fit the not part 19A there, which is the control column thing. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's a very large lump of flash. That is, quite literally, the only flash I've had on this model. So, yeah, not bad at all. I'm going to try and cut that from the sprue with a scalpel. I've got a horrible feeling that isn't going to survive, but we'll give it a go. I really would like to fit this piece. Oh, it's going to go, it's going to snap. I know it is, I can see it. I've been so careful, but I think it's going to go. Yeah, it's gone, look. Plan B. That's a bit of 15 amp, yeah, 15 amp fuse line. Oh, crikey, I think that might do better than trying to repair that. That just isn't going to work. It's not going to have it. So, where's the suicide glue? I mean, suicide glue. Super glue more like, but you know. I'll use this glove from the bin. There we go. I'll squirt it onto that. Oh. There we go. It shouldn't soak in so quick now. Take that. Take Mustang. Give that a good dollop of super glue and then set it in. And to strengthen that, once it's set, I'll drop the usual fill around it just to give it a strong joint. Hopefully, oh cripes, it's not brilliant, but it's better than a broken plastic piece that would have been on there. Give that a push down again. Trying to square this up. Oh crikey. Over like that. And then try and square it up. Ah! There we go, ladies and gents. I think that is an adequate replacement for the piece of plastic. So I'll let that filler go off. Then I might gently, ever so carefully sand around to get it smooth. Whew, I can breathe now. Canopy time. So I've already masked it. I'm just going to drop it onto the aircraft like that. Just make sure it's seated. And while I'm doing this, talking about clear parts, the gun sight part for this was awful. it just looked absolutely awful. So yeah, I'm not going to fit that. It looked, oh no, definitely not. So oops, oh crikey, there we go. Just a gentle touch with Tamiya, and I find that will hold all of the canopies in place. It doesn't frost up, and it's just really good for this application. I don't use any other glue but that. There we go, that's on. Yep, next thing to fit is going to be this piece. I've already painted it green because that's the colour it's going to be, so I shall mask that completely when I mask the frame. So I'm just going to touch up these edges after I've put it into place. Masking's okay, but it's not one of my top skills, so I tend to try to avoid it if I can, and masking the canopy on this would be a lot easier than trying just to mask the canopy and then mask it again and then paint it and then, oh no. So yeah, I'm just going to fit this to the canopy, we'll fit this to the aircraft, paint it again, and then fix the canopy to it and then mask the whole thing. I think that would be a lot easier than trying to do it individually. Just a little scrape on the sides there. I do hate these little bits that, ugh. That's it. I'll get my file and just clean that up. I know other modelers use grit sandpaper. I find these nail files do the job perfectly alright, and you get loads in a packet and they last you years. And for me, they do pretty much the same job as any expensive modelling paper. So as I said, I haven't got a big budget, so I tend to work to the cheapest that I can. Having said that, it doesn't mean I can't fit motors and stuff to planes. I'll just find the cheapest option for that to happen, because I like the added interest in the models of something either lit or moving. I know there's static models and I know it's not supposed to happen, you've got RC stuff, but again, I can't afford an RC plane, and let's be honest, building models is anyone can do, so adding a little bit of detail to a model for me is a nice thing to do. So we'll add that on there. And see what's overhanging a little bit. I don't like that, so I'll just tidy that up. Try and fit that again. That looks alright to me. It looks like that's a reasonable fit. So this time around I'm going to use the Revel glue. Just a couple of spots, I'm not going to go mental with it. And drop it in place and then position it as carefully as we can. Oh crikey. Oh. Just ease it into position. There's gaps there. I'm not sure if I like that. You see, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a profound gap between this section and the fuselage, and I'm not sure if I like that. It doesn't look slick to me. I've got to fit the part, but I'm just not entirely satisfied with that. And the best way to check this, I suppose, is find the canopy for the closed position, 5D, which is that one. Very quick fit, and see how it fits on there. If it looks okay, then I won't bother doing anything with that section. The idea being that before the glue dries, oh, it looks fine, I'll leave it as it is. I'm not going to fiddle with it. I might run a little bead of filler around it just to tidy it up before painting. That looks alright to me, so I'll let that go off. I don't want the fume to interfere with that. So far, what I've done with the Mustang now is I've got the front on, the front canopy on, the rear framework for the rear sliding canopy, and I've painted the front of the aircraft green, just varnished it all with gloss varnish. I'm going to let that go off, and then I should apply the canopy and then mask everything, remove these two masks, either side of the nose, and then mask the whole lot. I just think it'd be easier than trying to mask this bit and then paint that bit and then mask, and just do it and mask it all, and then we can apply the airbrush. So yeah, so far. Oh yes, and I've done some filling where there's some slight gaps in the rear here. Everything's done now, just going to finish off this bit and then carry on. So yeah, it's up to the stage where I'm almost ready to apply the first coat of primer. Cool. And looking at that spray, my brush needs a good deep clean. So that'll be the next job to do while the paint dries. Right, painted the Mustang. I've used number 11 Humbrol, and it's just, cut a long story short, I'm going to try Mottling. Never tried it before. I know it's to bring the panels out. I've never done it personally because I think camouflage is enough, but because this is such a plain coloured plane, I'm going to try some Mottling. So I've got 191 metallic Humbrol. I've mixed it with black to make it ever so slightly darker, and I'm using my brush that I used for the 262. That gave me really good control, so I'm just going to flush out the cleaner that was in there first. So if I can get some paint through, that might not be open enough. Let's give that another go. There we go, the paint's coming out now. Yeah, I want to be ever so careful I don't ruin my work so far. There we go, little bits like that. I'm just going to let's close that right and just bring it out. There we go. So I've got a very fine, there we go. I want to keep it like that. So I'm going to give this a go now. Over every panel, I'll do the top side first and then do the bottom side. So here goes nothing. I just hope this works. I'm going to feel awfully stupid if it doesn't. It might not be right, just a little turnout. Oh crikey, I'll break that. So I've never done it before, so I'm just going to try to do each panel see a difference there. Yeah, and then when it's done, I shall put Umbro 11 over it on a thinner and then see if it comes out, or if it just covers it all up and this has been a complete waste of time. Anyway, I'm going to carry on doing this because it is a slow process and stop filming it, and then I will show you what I have achieved or not achieved. Mottling's done, and I can see a difference in the two shades, so that's good. The darker metallic against a lighter metallic, so that's all dried. What I've got here is humble number 11 that I've really thinned down, 50-50. That's using the same brush. Let's see what that does. I just hope it works. I've never done mottling before, so let's wish me the best of luck, because you never know with me. Compressor on. Let's give it a bit of a spray up and see what happens. I do hope this works. Let's see if that works when it dries. All I can say is, fingers crossed. Well, the top coat dried, I gave it some gloss varnish, and I don't know if it's worked or not, to be fair. My old eyes might not be able to see it. I don't know if it shows on the camera. I can see ever such slight different tones and that, but it's not what I was hoping for. But anyway, enough of that. Decals next, and then just wire up the motor and call it done. Marvellous. This is the decal I've been dreading the most, so I'm doing it first. Get it out of the way, sort of thing. This the nose art is just, oh, I don't know if I can do it or not. If I've got the hand skills or the patience or whatever it is that professional modelers use. I don't know if I can do it. So cross fingers. Let's hope for the best. Yes, I'm not overly confident with this one, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Oh, come on, release from the paper. That's it. This can go wrong very, very quickly, and I know it. Let's try that. Yeah, this is definitely the one I've been dreading the most out of all of them. Although, oh crikey, see, it moved on the plane. This is why I have trouble. I have very limited hand-eye coordination. Come on you go. I think that's the best I'm going to get it. that settle before I do anything else. Yeah, let the decal fix do its job. I'll try not to fettle with it. I'll give it an hour or so and then see if if it sits and sticks. That's one side of the decals done. Yeah, quite successful really. I've got the nose sorted out, got the aircraft serial numbers and whatnot and that on, so I'm going to let them go off. I'm not going to touch the plane now for another hour or so. Let them go off and I'll do the other side and I'll do the wings. Side of the decals is now done. So whilst they're going off and drying, I'm going to paint the prop and exhaust outlets, I suppose you call them. They're going to be white, they're going to be 53, and they're probably black. I'm going to do them off camera with a paintbrush because that's how I like to do these little bits with a paintbrush. I'm not going to set the airbrush up for that. That is just, there's 3 lots of colours. It's a lot of cleaning, a lot of mucking around. Just get a brush out. I've got the small decals to go. I don't know how many I'm going to put on, but the highlight of the show always for me with these builds is putting the prop on. So as usual, what I've done this time is before I assemble the prop, Airfix quite happily gave me a little centre hole in the middle of the prop. So I drilled through there and I winded it that end to give me more of a setting movement type thing. So as always, a little bit of filler, don't use any glue, just to stick it onto the motor shaft. So just a little tiny drop of filler in there. Make sure there's none sort of that can stick to the aeroplane and stop it spinning, because otherwise what's the point. And just wet a cotton bud, take off the excess like that, and then you pick up the aeroplane and very slowly slide into place like that. I think that's about perfect. Just want to move that over a tad if it will go. Oh, big fat fingers. There we go. I'll let the filler go off and that'll hold that nicely, so I'm going to do that with one of my crop clips and probably just hold it up a bit more just to give it a bit of a, just until the filler goes off. And then, oh, that red wing thing keeps coming off. Oh, don't even touch it, it comes off. There we go, it's back on. Blessed thing. Right, let's I'm going to leave that to stand overnight and get that go off, and then we can test direction of the motor and everything. Yeah, loving it. Well, there we go. My P51 Mustang build to join the 262 in my dogfight double. I'm very, very chuffed with myself, to be honest. I'm really pleased with the prop effect and the jet engines, and yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. So if you enjoyed this video as much as I certainly did making it, please give it a like. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers!